Welcome to the fourth best of 5 of the evening. We're on Frozen Temple, spawning to the bottom right hand corner in green, playing Zerg for the United States. It's Allaryce. And to the top left hand corner, playing in purple and Protoss for this season, normally playing Terran, it's LDLC's Miyako, playing for France. Raise your baguettes! Going for the pylon on the low ground, and then maybe a gateway. Yeah, probably a gateway. There's the probe already. On a map with such short rush distances, and knowing that Allaryce actually likes to build early links, I think I wouldn't go into Nexus first as well. So, hatchery going down. This time around, no all too early pool for Allaryce. So, Allaryce new to the FSL for this season. This is her first season playing. So, of course, she hasn't had the chance to prepare for her opponents as well as maybe some of the oldies of the FSL, of the veterans, because the veterans, of course, have the advantage that they've already played a lot of the other members throughout Season 1, while Allaryce just has to meet everyone anew. Of course, she could just be watching their streams, or could also just have a look at the VODs, but it's still not the same thing. Yeah? Just watching VODs of an opponent or having played against her, it's still a different kind of thing. So let's see what Miyako actually, just for a moment I thought she might just pylon rush the shit out of her opponent, but then she didn't. So, okay, just moving back a little bit. Okay, she already has the gateway up and is already producing a zealot here, so it seems as if she just wanted to kind of fake an expansion, but right behind she's just going into double gateway and a Summit core, so it seems as if she really wants to make a quick first game and wants to make a stand, maybe a statement even with her first attack. So chrono boosted zealot, and now we'll probably, 2 adepts will probably follow up right afterwards, but she's supply blocked. How very unfortunate, Miyako. What are you doing? Okay, finally, just waiting for this pylon down here, but of course a little bit late with the pylons there. Actually, there was another pylon in production. I can't really see where it was, but it was somewhere. Okay, first Zealot actually getting in. Okay, just attacking the third hatchery here. Allaryce actually being a bit greedy there, really taking a quick third base even far before 3 minutes here. And yeah, the Zealot is just there, will not be able to take it out on its own, but now the Adepts are going to follow up. And we have more and more Adepts just incoming. Allaryce now moves out with the Overlord, sees that no base has been taken, and that this indeed might be a total all-in. So from now, just freaking out, getting metabolic boost as early as possible, plus a few more Zerglings. But in the meantime, we also have a Stalker in the progress. Okay, nice model micro here by Miyako, just taking out almost all of the Zerglings without losing one. And finally the first 2 Adepts arrive as well, and suddenly Allaryce is under real pressure here. Now Miyako even, okay, just barely was thinking about maybe the mothership or just getting the mothership. Yeah, she does actually. She gets the mothership across the map as well. This base for certain is going to die, especially with the help of the pylon. We also have a gateway in front, so more possibilities to just keep up the pressure. And is she actually... Yeah, she's actually also getting a warp gate upgrade. Would have really wondered about that if she didn't. Also getting a Twilight Council right behind it for possible DTs if need be. But I feel that Allaryce actually will have problems just defending this. She only has 1 spine crawler around. Okay, we also have a pylon over here as well. Okay, the units finally get down everything. Another unit gets produced from a usual gateway, but once warp gate finishes, Miyako will just have a ton of units being able. It's actually a 4-gate, ladies and gentlemen, just not coming from one position here. So a rather odd thing to do, but actually quite nicely done, because even if it didn't really work out, she could just always seal it off and then still expand. So after doing all of this damage. Okay, nice move there by Allaryce, just taking down that pylon over here, but the photon overcharge will probably just drive away most of these units, so Miyako actually gets done what she wanted to do with that pylon over here, and also gets down robotics facility right in the face of Allaryce here, right at the third base location. Now even shading in with the Adepts, getting all of these Zerglings, granting the pylon over here vision. The mothership core doesn't have enough energy yet, but Queens are actually... No, Queens are not light units, actually. So the Adepts don't deal extra damage to them, but it still suffices. I mean, have a look at that. Adepts dealing so much damage towards that Queen. More pylons getting positioned down as well to fortify the position over here if need be. These Adepts could always just shade back or just move back right into that pylon range, and everything would easily get shot down. Now even taking care of the Queen down here. That means less lava for Allaryce, and less lava means even less units than she can even produce. She now will just have one little roach out once it pops, and the roach might actually even help a little bit against the Adepts, but they are still going to kill off so many workers while the next few Adepts just easily shade in. Finally, we have the production worth of 4 gateways, and okay, it's actually 5 gateways if Miyako ever bothered to open that one. Although she couldn't probably not afford it anyways. But yeah, getting for the resonating glaives since she wants to go into more Adepts. Okay, killing off more and more workers here. 9 have already been killed once more, 11 in total already. And even more units warping in, so Allaryce obviously can't really defend on all sides, especially not with so few units. Now even more units getting morphed in. Okay, Miyako could even just, if she just saves the sentry, could even just wall off the ramp at some point and then just finish off whatever base she decides to finish. Just waiting for the Immortal here to come in. Okay, Ravager's being morphed, so Allaryce still doing kinda okay-ish. I mean, she's down 6 workers, and she's on 2 bases, so her saturation should be a little bit better. Sporecrawler unfortunately won't really help her because it can be taken down, because all of these units just grant high ground vision. So Ravagers might actually be a little bit helpful, but by now we also have the first Stalker out here. So let's see, do these actually see what they could they actually throw down a bile on that robotics bay? On that robotics facility? That would be a really great deal. Okay, now we have it. Unfortunately, all of the bile has been spent, so now we don't have enough bile to get that force field destroyed, but we'll have in just a few seconds here. And, okay, Allaryce just waits for it to finish. Now just tries to use the bile for defensive purposes. And yeah, I think she really would maybe just need to get down these pylons. I mean, these pylons would supply block Miyako and keep her from warping in more and more units. But yeah, I mean, even with the... Yeah, I mean, even shooting down the warp prism wouldn't really help that much, since it's not the only way that Miyako can reinforce her troops right at the front. Of course, these are only providing slow warp-ins, but it's still good enough. So I think actually Miyako could probably just kill her right now. I mean, it's only 4 Ravagers, and Allaryce just has not been really mining for quite some time. Taking out 1 pylon, and there it is, the fat supply block I was talking about. So that might just buy her a little time. Might even be able to get another one with the biles, or maybe even a mothership core. But yeah, this base is a goner, especially with the Immortals. Miyako just moving out, getting 1 Zealot killed, a little bit sloppy there, but not all too important. Second base dies, and that's actually it. I mean, even if, again, even if Allaryce actually managed to kill off that force, and she will probably not be able to, her opponent could still easily just expand right behind it, while she herself is on 1 base and less drones, so there's actually no way for her to win that game anymore. She fights like a lion, tries to throw her opponent back, but this game is lost, ladies and gentlemen. The last stand, Miyako just moves in with everything, stutter steps forwards, GG, and Miyako takes the first game. Allaryce chose New Gettysburg. Interesting choice. Well, I think a lot of Zerg players prefer this map in any matchup. It's, well, it's yeah, it's pretty Zerg favorite in all the non-mirror matchups, of course. So, not too much of a surprise. Double extractor trick. While Miyako just goes for a pylon on the high ground. Is probably expecting her opponent to cheese her back after that series. So she doesn't really want to face any cheese with a wide-ass ramp like this to defend. With only buildings. So she rather goes for the high ground wall. While her opponent just playing the meta. Just mind-gaming her and going for the hatch first. Which doesn't necessarily mean that her opponent might not try something tricky, but Miyako obviously seems to try something tricky herself. And is already moving out her probe in order to plant something kind of proxy-ish, while, of course, giving her opponent a feel of safety by scouting with a normal probe. It's going to be a pylon, I dare say, first, and then we'll see what Miyako actually wants to transition into once more. Maybe another one-base play. So, want to wait for the cybernetics core, and now it's going to be time for a pylon, because we want to have a pylon ready once the mothership core, once the cybernetics core, not mothership core, once the cybernetics core finishes, so that we can then throw down a tech building. And here we go. So hatchery almost done, pool almost finished. So first defenses will be ready. So I'm really curious what this is going to be. From that position, I actually think it's going to be a Twilight into DT, but maybe it's also going to be a Stargate, and it's going to be Twilight into DT. So quite interesting here. Yeah, I think a Stargate would have probably been proxied around here somewhere, or maybe even at home. I mean, if you really want to proxy a Stargate, you can actually even the distances are really that low. I mean, like, having a Stargate up here is almost the same route distance than coming from here, so it doesn't really matter anyways, unless of course this is more difficult to scout. So yeah, looks like a DT build, I dare say. And here we have the Overlord. Again, Allaryce must suspect something now. She moved in the Overlord, sees that there's no expansion whatsoever. So like right now, Allaryce really actually doesn't want to use these links for scouting the front, but rather wants to use them, and she does with these two, to scout the typical proxy locations. But it seems as if Miyako really chose a wise point, but we'll see. I mean, Allaryce has... yeah, it seems as if she'll see it. And here she goes. She has set up the ready points accordingly. Nicely done. So now she sees everything, and also the Dark Shrine. Should be well prepared for it. Can't actually really take it down. Well, maybe she actually could. I mean, is there enough space to get right behind it? Well, she could probably not take it down before it finishes, but could just try, I think. Okay, another pylon. Miyako doesn't really want to stray away from her plan. So, okay, there are the two links just working on the Twilight Council. Like I said, I think the Dark Shrine is actually the more important building here. But, okay, just wants to nibble away at that. Maybe she can't really get towards the Dark Shrine. Okay, it's already getting a few Spore Crawlers in position. Should, I think, actually also get into... yeah, also gets into lair pretty quickly. So the Dark Shrine will probably not help her that much. But of course, Miyako could also use the DTs for a later push with Archons as well. So we'll see what's going to happen. And of course, it's still difficult to cover all of the areas, so Miyako might still be able to make something happen, but not once this Overlord moved into... okay, just morphing in 1 DT actually even, so that no unit will actually take damage here, and then just sends it across the map. Okay, Mothership Core is done. Another 1-base push out of Miyako, with a lot of gateways again. So like I said, it might actually just be a push with the help of Archons. So maybe Allaryce just feeling too safe that she has enough forces against DTs and everything ready for DTs. Okay, doesn't really... there's the Overseer Cocoon. Yeah, just have to move a little bit back. Yeah, now the DT's into detection range, and would probably get surrounded and killed off. So yeah, Miyako now has to pull back, but like I said, she can just always morph these into Archons, and Archons are just fantastic against Zerglings. And like I said before, I mean, Allaryce, even going into a quick Spire here, just thinking that she might be able to take an advantage once she stopped. Oh my god, Miyako just again going into very proxy here. Just wants to have all of the units very close together as soon as possible. Okay, unfortunately, yeah, the Lings are fighting here, but there's no detection over here until the Overseer comes in. And it can actually get even shot down. The Archon morphs in time as well. And like I said before, Allaryce just being too confident, thinking that with just being safe against the Dark Templars, she would be safe against everything. But with only Lings and then the first few Archons morph, suddenly all of your defensive forces are in shambles. And it seems as if Miyako once more will just be able to take out, well, at least to hurt Allaryce very significantly. I mean, this time around, Miyako is really all in. If Allaryce should actually at some point hold this fairly convincingly, then her opponent can never actually expand into anything. But yeah, fighting with Lings only against Archons, and Mutas won't really help as well. So, like I said, I mean, she was really expecting to take advantage of her opponent, and that she would just make DTs mostly, only having units that can't really fire up. But now Miyako has Archons and a few Stalkers as well, and this base is going to die. And once it's going to die, once more, I mean, Allaryce is then on one base, just like Miyako is, so it will mostly come down to who can actually produce more and the better units. But that advantage actually goes to Miyako, because she already has very high-tech units. And units that are very good against the composition that she has. I mean, she can never fight up, she can never fight straight up against these units. GG! And Miyako takes the second game with a quick cheese as well. Frost is the last chosen map for Allaryce. Seems as if this time around she wants to make sure that her opponent can't really cheese her that easily, and then that she finally might transition into a macro game. Let's see what Miyako is actually up to. Just goes for the pile on the low ground, of course. It's Frost. It's very easy to just seal this off, this area, no problem there. Well, Allaryce just goes for the good old extractor trick, and has gotten a cross spawn, the most favorable position for a Zerg player. But of course it doesn't really matter if Miyako decides to cheese her proxy-wise once more, then distances don't matter anymore. But it seems as if Miyako just... Well, we've thought that before, that she might just go into... a Nexus right afterwards. But there's a second gateway. So once more aggression. It seems as if Miyako really wants to beat her opponent only on one base. Doesn't really want to invest too much time into this series. So, spawning pool in the making. Yeah, I mean... Typical standard opening for Zerg, nothing all too special, but good stuff, good stuff. Allaryce just trying to find out where her opponent is, has no idea what's going on yet. There's the probe, finding her opponent. Cross spawn position, we have no other probe out, so Miyako better make sure that she keeps that one alive. Allaryce just sending out more overlords in order to get some information where her opponent will be. Will unfortunately only discover it at the very latest moment, and yeah, Miyako actually going for almost the same build she did on the first map, with only a very much longer distance here, so I think we're not going to see a speed zealot, or a zealot chrono boosted out this gateway, but she will rather wait for the cybernetics core to finish, and then just produce 2 adepts, because adepts can just cross the distance a lot more quickly than zealots can, because they can just shade forward and then just bridge the gap a lot more easily. So Allaryce this time around has a few more links out, just also finds the pesky probe over here. So unfortunately it seems as if there will be no proxy out for Miyako this time, so she might actually have to expand, and the probe is already in position here. We'll still probably be able to deal some damage with the first adepts, I feel. They are the first few out, for 2 more in production. But like I said, Miyako has the probe down here, is collecting 400 minerals, and there the Nexus finally goes down. So what the fuck, Miyako actually going to 2 base? What an improvement. So, Miyako just moving in, will probably be able to get a few drone kills here. I mean, we have only measly 2 queens and no lings around, because the lings are far across the map. So yeah, this should actually again just deal terrible damage. Miyako just focusing down 1, 2, 3, 4, and the queen just takes forever to take out adepts. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe even a 10th. Wow, we'll probably even just shade away from these links, just gets a few more links for 3 actually. 1 adept dies before the other just shades down here. 10, maybe even 11? No, but just making a lot of, getting a lot of value out of these units. And actually, weren't there 2 others on the map as well? Okay, she actually just moved them back, because lings were on the way, it seems. Okay, she just moved 1 back and sent the other one across the map, but it just gets surrounded and killed. So no more damage for her, but 10 workers that early on is like horrible for Allaryce, especially since this time around Miyako indeed is expanding. and not only applying pressure. So she's already ahead in workers and will be even more throughout the next few minutes. So that's already a terrible position there for Allaryce. And she hasn't even figured out where her opponent actually is because she just somehow moved that overload back. I don't know. Okay, so now she finally even has to find her, realizing that she's cross position as well. But there's, I think, not much she can do. I mean, there's adepts around like crazy. Adepts like snack Zerglings for breakfast, no problem here. We also have 2 photon overcharges, or 2 photon overchargeable pylons available if need be. But yeah, and the mothership core just in front of the base will easily scout any sort of Ling pressure. Okay, there's the Overlord just getting shot down. No scouting information for you, Mr. Overlord. But Allaryce now still even doesn't know if there is a base or not. Now she knows. Like I said, no way she can get in here without taking heavy losses, and not even I mean, even without taking heavy losses, she will not be able to get in. No way to get in there. Has at least a 3rd base up, but is not going into droning so far. Now, finally, 5 more workers. Yeah, but the biggest problem is that she can't really afford that. I mean, she has a lot of Lings out. Now the Adepts are again just moving forwards. The Resonating Glaives will be out in just a second, as well as an Oracle. So, again, a lot of units that are just great against light units. And yeah, the Adepts will just murder these Zerglings here. No way. I mean, especially if she gets in a good position. Ooh, and now even unfortunately just morphing the Banelings right at the wrong location. That is so. I mean, first you don't have luck, and then bad luck comes to it as well. I mean, that is very unfortunate there for Allaryce here. Just already guessing what is coming, trying to get the Banelings out, and now she's probably even have to sack the 3rd base while Miyako is taking a 3rd base. Are you fucking kidding me? But she is. Okay, Oracle just flies in, gets 3 more kills, but the Queen and Spinecrawler were ready. Ooh, Miyako losing the Oracle? No, just quite not, because the Queen is off of creep. Well, out of creep, I would rather say. Yeah, and this is again the biggest problem. I mean, with only Lings, it's really difficult to just defeat these Adepts here, because they can always just get into some sort of choke point where the Lings just will only deal terrible trades here, especially in combination with the Oracle that also kills light unit very easily. So Allaryce just having to waste resources desperately trying to defend this base, and this is always difficult to do as a Zerg player, knowing whether the amount of army you have is actually enough or not. So you yourself know, well, I have to go in and save my base. If I don't save that base, I will be dead anyways. But can I wait like 20 seconds more for another wave of Lings? Will my base be gone by now? Do I already have enough in order to kill the forces that my opponent has? It looks like it, but maybe not. And then suddenly you lose all of your forces, just barely maybe even. Yeah? Just leaving 2 or 3 Adepts just barely behind. And yeah, that everything just snowballs from there. Miyako just checking for a potential 4th base that could have just replaced the 3rd base. And yeah, I mean, by now she doesn't even actually need to do more damage here. She has a 3rd base ready and up. It is not really secured yet, but she wants to plant down a few more photon cannons as well. She also still has some units at the front, so she still be able to deal some damage or apply some pressure if she actually wants to, while Allaryce is just fighting for sheer life here on 2 bases. I mean, being even on bases is already bad for Zerg. Being down 1 base is like a catastrophe. It's a disaster. I just can't say it more clearly to those of you who might be watching not knowing so much about StarCraft, maybe even watching StarCraft for the 1st or 2nd time, or just doing a favor to one of your friends playing in the FSL, although you never really play StarCraft yourself. But yeah, just have to put the emphasis on this. Allaryce's position is like horrible for her, and she must feel really bad about it and really desperate. So now finally moves in, tries to get some good Baneling connections on these Adepts. Unfortunately only gets 2 with the Baneling hits, and now the remaining forces just get massacred by all of these light killing units. And GG! Miyako takes the series 3-0.